the next speaker, Dr. السلام المعلا, is political reform and current monarchical system in Jordan. Please, Dr.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Abdulillah, for coordinating and organizing this event. I'm going to get into a few factual numbers, data, statistics that will help out clear up the situation in Jordan. The first piece that I need to share with you is on September 30th, 2011, King Abdullah II approved a few changes to the Constitution that Stephen has indicated. The trial of ministers by civilian courts, the setting up of a constitutional court, and the supervision of general elections by an independent body. Those were very good changes, very positive, and we welcome those. However, there are three key articles in the Constitution that remain unchanged. Very, very key articles. The first one, number 35, the second, 35, and the third is 36. The opposition firmly believe and stress that these articles must be amended to pave the way for genuine constitutional monarchy. Article number 34 of the Constitution grants the king full authority to dissolve Parliament. King Abdullah II dissolved Parliament twice at his own will. Article number 35 grants the king to appointing governments. The number of appointed unelected governments in Jordan since 1921 is 94. 94. That's basically, if you do the math, that is one appointed government per year and a half. Just last year, 3 new governments have been appointed by the king. On the records, we have more than 600 ministers and members of parliament who are receiving retirement pensions that cost the budget $25 million a year. Article number 36 grants the king to handpick 60 members of the Senate, and that's the upper house. The lower house is parliament, and it is composed of 120 seats. The opposition from the entire political spectrum insist that these articles must be amended to put political reforms on the right track. On February 21st, 2012, just a few days ago, leader of the Muslim Brotherhood, Hammam Saeed, stated, and I'm quoting here, should the Muslim Brotherhood take part in an elected government in Jordan, Islamists have no intentions in dominating power, stressing that the Jordanian Muslim Brotherhood aims to be an inclusive movement, close quote. In May of 2010, the unelected government enacted a temporary elections law, alluded to by my friend Stephen just a few minutes ago, that is much worse than the one it replaced. The law mandates random allocation of parliamentary seats to 108 electoral districts, regardless of the population size. This new law keeps the one person, one vote system in place, which grants an unduly large representation to rural and tribal areas, and does not develop a strong independent parliament. Introduced by a royal court in August 1993, ratified and signed by the king himself, the one person, one vote system, which is used by only 2 countries in the world, Afghanistan and Vanuatu, and that is in the eastern part of Australia, is known to skew election results in favor of certain societal groups, such as rural and tribal areas, at the expense of larger urban ones. It is no secret that the great majority of Jordanians, men and women, Bedouins and non-Bedouins, and those of Palestinian origin, are dissatisfied with the corruption, flagrant misuse of power, and lack of basic human rights that are the hallmark of the present regime in Amman. For example, let me share you this example with you. 2010, and before that 2007. So 2007 and 2010 parliament elections that proved to be fully fraudulent and rigged. And the proof, several former prime ministers, namely Maruf al-Bakhid and Abdurrauf al-Rawarda, ministers, even chief of the intelligence committee, the former one, Mohammed al-Ragad, leaders of civil society, human rights organizations, national and international, and even the appointed National Center for Human Rights in Jordan stated and witnessed and agreed that exponential fraud and rigging occurred in these elections. A scientific poll, that's another proof, another evidence to share with you, conducted by the University of Jordan's Center for Strategic Studies, CSS, between October 17th, 2007 and November 2nd, 2007, revealed that more than three quarters said that they were aware of the phenomenon vote buying. Out of which 66.3% said vote buying was taking place in their own districts. Only 12%, listen to this, only 12% of the Jordanians of Palestinian origin make up the majority of the current population, approximately 60%, participated in 2010 parliament elections. This is mainly due to, out of fear from the current regime and its security forces, and lack of confidence in the tribal elections law and candidates. Only 4 candidates from Palestinian refugees, 1 and 15 in other districts. The rest of winners, 101, are Eastern Jordanians who make up less than 40% of the population. Let me shift gears, and I'm going to focus on the judicial branch in the Jordanian government. The judicial branch is no exception of this mess. In June 2010, 117 judges signed a letter protesting the new amendments in the judicial independence law that has recently been ratified and endorsed by the appointed government of King Abdullah II. According to these judges, the amended law violates constitutional guarantees of separation of powers and constitutes an executive branch encroachment on the independence of the judiciary. Close quote. According to these judges, this law, quote, grants the royally handpicked Minister of Justice jurisdiction to meddle in the affairs of the judiciary and does not offer the Judicial Council, which is the sole entity that has jurisdiction over the judicial branch, full authority to exercise its power. Many other judges who have not signed the same letter, lawyers, academics, human rights activists, and journalists, have also criticized the amendment and unequivocally stressed that this amended law, quote, ties public complaint with the approval of the Minister of Justice, a matter that is considered as a direct interference by the Minister of Justice, an elected official, in public prosecution. Based on the facts stated above and based on what is happening in Jordan, it is increasingly clear that the rampant abuse of power, human rights, and official corruption in Jordan, if left unchecked, can be a powerful drag on the nation's economic growth, and my colleague Adnan will touch on that later on. It must be eliminated if Jordan is to thrive in the global economy of the 21st century. Ladies and gentlemen, predicting the collapse of King Abdullah II's regime has been unpopular for recent years, but never more so than in the past 12 months. There have been recent signs of potential cracks in the Hashemite regime and unrest at the top. Surely, the above evidence and facts suggest such a conclusion. The United States, European Union, Japan, those are the major donors and aids to Jordan, must insist that their foreign aid packages to Jordan need to be contingent on the tangible progress in attacking these problems at their root. Our united message to the United States Congress is this: countries run by thuggish dictators and rogue regimes, overcome by corruption and human rights abuses, must not be cuddled nor aided